Alright, I'm responding to Annette's claim of fact, which stated, without adequate safeguards, genetically modified organisms pose a threat to the environment and human health. Her first point states that genetically modified organisms cause environmental damage. According to the U.S. Department of Energy's Office of Science, traditional breeding can be very slow because it might take several generations before the desired trait is sufficiently brought up. Genetically modified organisms speed up the process and conserve soil, water, and energy. The less water and energy needed is better for the environment. Then she backs it up by stating cross-pollination causes a mutation of superweeds, which increase the use of toxic pesticides. In an article on ScienceDaily.com by the University of Missouri-Columbia, using bioinformatic approach to mine a genetic database, the researchers pinpointed two bacterial enzymes, AAD1 and AAD12. The herbicide protection of these enzymes was subsequently tested in corn and soybeans. Using a robust transformation method, the corn plant was engineered to produce the enzyme AAD1 and the soybean plant engineered to produce the enzyme AAD12. In other words, the enzymes thought to fight off superweeds tested positive and can be used to contain these superweeds for the future. Her second point states genetically modified organisms are harmful to nature and animal species. She states that the monarch butterflies population is decreasing, but she never gave a statistic on how much the population of the monarch butterfly has decreased or what caused it. I referred back to her bibliography to find the site where she got her information about the monarch butterfly's decrease in population, and I found out that the article written by Ken Roseborough on non-GMOreport.com stated that several scientists, including Brower, Pelosi, and Iowa State University researcher John Obricki, wrote letters to the Environmental Protection Agency citing weakness in the studies. Brower said that toxicology experiments were not done under natural field conditions, and the studies were based on assumption that the monarchs consume only pollen and not other corn tissue, such as anthers, which contain high concentrations of Bt toxins. In other words, the tests and statistics were for the decrease in population, butterfly population, could not be stated as true or accurate facts to support the claim. Her last point stated that genetically modified foods cause health problems among human beings. She backs it up by explaining how consuming genetically modified foods makes us susceptible to multiple food allergies. I argue that not everyone is allergic to the same type of foods, therefore, the foods that cause allergies or allergic reactions is subjected to a small amount of the population. This assumption does not apply for the majority of the population. Not enough evidence is used to support this subclaim. In conclusion, genetically modified organisms don't all cause harm to the environment, and superweeds can be contained. Evidence regarding the decrease in monarch butterflies was found weak and inaccurate. And lastly, the evidence supporting genetically modified foods cause multiple food source allergies lacked proof and assumed more than anything.
All right, the structural things are all fine. You're signposting as you're going through the speech. On the first part of your first argument, it's really just a justification for genetically modified organisms. I guess the idea is that you've got a counterclaim here for using less water and resources, that's got to be good for the environment. That's a presupposition. I think you need a stronger answer than that particular point. On the issue about the superweeds and the bacteria, I thought that was really confusing at first, because you start presenting this information and I have no idea where you're going with it. You do the same kind of thing on the second point. It's a little bit clearer there, but it's the same issue that I was talking about with a couple of other people, and that is that you're giving us the evidence and information before you've told us what the inference is. Generally, if you start with the inference and then tell us how you got to that inference from the evidence, it's going to be clearer for a listener to understand what's going on. So on that first point, that happens especially. On the second point, I can tell that the general criticism is going to be of the study and of the methodology that's used on the butterfly research. So I still think it would be a good idea to make a simple claim at the beginning of the speech. The research that she cited is not scientifically valid, or it has been challenged for its methodology. And let me explain to you what those challenges are, and then cite the evidence that you're presenting. As it is, you're kind of, like I've said to a couple other people, you're backing into the argument instead of driving the argument, and you want to be in charge there. I don't really know what your third point was all about. It sounded like it was going to be a relevant issue and a potential counterclaim, but it seemed like it went in circles, and you need to have a more definitive point on that. I did think that you had a very good summary of the argument, though. All right. Thank you.